Go ahead.
Okay. I think this is, first of all, I'd like to say I think this is really a cool idea because you work with somebody over the years on Rotary projects, but you really don't get to know them as well as you do through this process. So we end up spending, we said, well, let's have a quick phone call.
Yep, 45 minutes later.
Yeah, and so but it was fun. So, Susan actually grew up almost all of her life in Columbus and graduated from Upper Arlington High School. And that's in 1972. And then, like good Arlington people, she went on to Ohio State University, where she majored in home ecology and marketing, and graduated in '76. So that means she only took 4 years. Wow. Yeah. She was with sorority Beta Phi, and I had the privilege of working there as a server, and so that struck a sweet spot in my memory bank. And then even at that age, at that stage in her life, she was always involved in leadership roles and being involved in rushing and things of that nature, which takes a lot of organization and a lot of salesmanship. She married Dave in 1975, and this August 23rd, they will celebrate their 39th wedding anniversary. And at least at this point in time, Susan has been doing things in the increments of 19. She worked 19 years at Lazarus before she retired, and then dedicated her time to her 2 daughters. And then after that, has spent 19 years now in financial services, where she has established her own firm, which is Stratus Wealth Partners, and is a founding partner. But I think of significance here again, showing Susan's excellence. She was nominated and awarded the 5-star professional award last year, and has just been nominated and will be receiving that same distinction for 2014 as well. She will also be published in the November issue of Columbus Monthly, so whoever the sergeant is, you can mark that down.
I got it.
Okay. So Susan's been a Rotarian since 2000, served as president in 2008, 2009, is currently active as treasurer of the Dublin Rotary Foundation, and just completed her term as assistant district governor. And I recall they really looking for someone to step in, and Susan completed that this last year. She also has had an ongoing passion not only for community service through Rotary, but also outside of Rotary, having spent 15 years now on the Dublin Counseling Center board, which is, I guess, gone through a combination. It is now called Centero.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh.
Yeah, many individuals
sorry.
involved here, right? Yeah. And then she was recognized in 2009 for being a top 20 woman, one of the top 20 women that you should know in Central Ohio, I think, and I would agree with that. Susan is also on the list of Paul Harris Fellows and is a benefactor, which is I think we have about 8 members who are benefactors, so it's a very select group at this point in time. Hobbies, scuba diving, especially in the Turks, Caicos, and we'll be going, 18th trip now here. That's in the West Indies. And most important of all was discussion about Susan's 2 daughters, both of whom are married, and Jen and Derek live in Dublin, so they're close, and Lindsay and Brian live in Raleigh, North Carolina. And they, I guess they all have dogs, and when they have family gatherings, there's 6 dogs running around, so that sounds like fun. But I liked Susan's last statement because I think it is also can be consistent with Rotary. And life today is about having fun and making memories. And so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to also tell you that, we think that we know all of our fellow Rotarians here, and in actuality, we don't know a whole lot about anybody. So this whole spotlight thing, I hope we get to continue to do it and maybe ramp it up a little bit more, because I learned more about Rick and his life, and he learned more about me yesterday than I've ever known. And I mean, we've done a lot of things together through the club, but it got to be very intimate, and it was really very gratifying because there's so many parallels to our lives. So Rick joined the Dublin Worthington Rotary back in 1984, and then Gary Haupt was his sponsor and basically said, you know what, Wednesdays are bad, you don't need to go do lunch, you need to come and be in the Dublin AM Rotary, which he started in 1992. So we have to thank Gary Haupt for bringing to us one of the very best Rotarians in Dublin AM, and we really enjoy having you here.
We all remember Gary.
Yes, and we all remember Gary and love Gary. Rick loves golf, but he says that there's not enough manufacturers out there that can manufacture golf balls, because every time he goes plays, he loses a dozen or so. He's got 2 kids, Mark, who's a systems engineer moving from Bangkok to Seattle, and Kristen, his daughter, lives in Chicago. He was the first graduating class from Bishop Reedy in the class of 1965, and there he played football. He then attended the Ohio State University School of Accounting, went the first year, and all of a sudden realized that he ran out of money, needs to have plan B. So he went and joined the Air National Guard, and then he sort of got activated. And he was in the Pueblo Crisis, stationed in Korea, and he was a mechanic there. So when he got to come back, he of course came back to Ohio State and finished, but during that time, as he said earlier, he joined and was a beta at Ohio State, which the beta fraternity is right across from the Pi-Phi house. And it is true, all the betas get to come over and be servers. And so you really have to be good looking and have a really good personality in order to be a server. So I'm sure back in the day, I mean, he was probably...
It's all downhill now,
He said that he worked at...
A lot of great dates, huh?
And he said, at that time you could go out for $1, and spend $1 for a date. And I can too remember being able to go, to some of the clubs and spend 25 cents and have a drink. But $1, I mean, goodness gracious, where are we paying now? It's way too much, obviously. So let's see, where am I here now? So then he graduated from Ohio State and went to work for Deloitte, and he was there again 20 years. So that's another parallel, is we basically each had 2 careers and spent just about that same amount of time at each one. So he was at Deloitte in New York City, where he actually got married, and then returned 5 years later to Columbus. He is the Rotary past president of the foundation, current chair of our scholarship, Paul Harris Fellow, and then 15 years ago he met Beverly and they got married, but they got married on Thanksgiving, where every single family member was coming in with the exception of one brother, and they had the whole family at their home, and they got married on Thanksgiving Day, and nobody knew that was going to happen. So it was a surprise to everyone, which I think is so cool. And so it was very unique, because what do we do on Thanksgiving? We, give thanks for everything we have. So he and Beverly were thanking the whole family for being a part of their life. So that was just so cool. The 2 mothers, the mother and mother-in-law, said, you know what, I wish you would have told me, I would have bought a new dress. Now think about it, we get new dresses to go to Sunday, to church and Sunday school, and we get new dresses to go out for events. back in the day, the mothers just wanted to have a new outfit. So they were sort of upset about that. So then, obviously, in 1992, he became all these titles, EVP, CFO at OCLC, and has been there ever since. And the rest is history because he's done a phenomenal job at OCLC. And I'm proud to tell everyone that he is a great new friend and fellow Rotarian, and I really enjoyed doing this with him. So, thank you.